Archaeologists believe that Tikal, like other Mayan cities, was a ceremonial center, which means that most of the large buildings we see today were used for religious ceremonies. The most important ceremonies were performed by the highest-ranking members of society, the noble priests. They ruled over Maya society. The highest priest of all was known as the true man. He was like a king and ruled over everyone in the city. The existence of these social classes, rulers, priests, and common people, is a good example of social organization. We can see what the noble priests looked like when they were dressed up for a ceremony. Such fantastic costumes must have set the nobles apart from the average Maya, for most people were ordinary farmers. Like the Maya of today, they spent long days tending their fields. And they lived in simple houses like this one, made of sticks, covered with mud. And like the Maya of today, they traded in large public markets. All of the cities like Tikal had such markets, where ordinary people could trade the surplus from their gardens for things they might need. On some days, the men would walk out into the jungle in search of meat for the evening meal. Above them, monkeys looked down from the safety of the treetops, keeping a watchful eye on the hunters. But the hunters had their minds on easier game, perhaps a wild turkey, venturing out to feed in a clearing. On a good day, they would capture several of these beautiful birds, taking them back alive to their houses. But on a bad day, they might return home empty-handed. Good days and bad days. These were not mere figures of speech to the ancient Maya, for all of Maya life was built around the idea that some days were naturally good and some were bad, and only a priest could foretell which was which. To do this, a priest consulted a special ritual calendar, which listed all of the days in a ritual year. Inside the circles are symbols for different days, some good and some bad. For example, this day, called Imish, was a good day. Good days were set aside for important work, such as planting. But this day, called Simi, represented by a face with the closed eyes of a dead person, forecast bad luck or even death. So this was not a good day to do anything important. The Maya actually had two calendars. One calendar, a solar calendar, contained 18 months of 20 days each, making 360 days. To this were added 5 unlucky or bad days, making a total of 365 days, just as in our calendar. The other calendar was the ritual calendar, which contained only 260 days. These two calendars turned together like two wheels so that each day a different pair of names was brought together. Each new day was named according to its position on both calendars. For example, this day is 4 Uaya Bimish. In this system, the exact same day only repeats every 52 years, marking 1 century of Mayan time. Many days on the Mayan calendar were set aside for religious ceremonies, which often involved blood offerings to the gods. In piercing his skin with the point of a spear, a priest would offer the vital stuff of life, his own blood. Here the ruler, or true man, is piercing his tongue with a large thorn. The Mayas believed that blood offerings and even human sacrifice were necessary to keep the universe in balance and to keep the wheels of time turning. The Maya were fascinated by the passage of time. They observed the sun as it passed through the sky, and they recorded the cycles of the moon and the planets. Their observations were so precise that they were able to accurately predict eclipses of the moon,